Hey, what's up guys? Arms Gaming here, and today I'm bringing you what I'm going to be calling my GUY ZANE build. Basically, this is a build that came about from a One Life Zane that we did over on my live stream over at twitch.tv/arms_gaming, and basically I was working on a build that had a mix of survivability and damage. And trying to do something a bit unique, a bit different from the typical Zane build, and I think I was sort of able to do something along the lines of that, and this build is honestly quite fun. So let's get into it. So the most important tree in this build is definitely the purple tree. Obviously, Mantis Cannon, one of Zane's best action skills. Has a lot of synergy with seeing red, and also a lot of synergy with a lot of these skills in here, which we'll get to in a second. So start off with Mana Focus. Activating an action skill grants Zane increased accuracy and handling for a short time. This effect stacks up to 10. Basically, you get to spam your Mantis Cannon and increase your accuracy, and this works really well with multi-pellet guns like the Hellwalker, in which basically every shot of your Hellwalker, all 10 pellets are going to be going in a much tighter spread than they normally would. So even at enemies at a slight distance away, you can hit very accurately with your Hellwalker. So it makes the Hellwalker a lot more of usable at almost all ranges, and it just lets it become so much more deadly. Next we have Headsman Hand, a 5x5. More crit damage. What can I say? You know, why wouldn't you want more crit damage, right? Next is Commitment, 5 out of 5. More gun damage, more cooldown rate. Again, why would you not want this, right? More gun damage, more cooldown. We especially want the cooldown for being able to spam Mantis Cannon, and this is where a majority of our cooldown is going to come, but it's not all of our cooldown. Next up is Fugitive, and Fugitive is actually, I think, one of Zane's more underrated skills. Fugitive is amazing for Zane. The ability to sprint and shoot at the same time is actually way better than it would be on Moe's because of synergies with violent momentum and violent speed, basically giving you so much speed and just running in people's faces and shooting, doing so much damage. Works great with the Hellwalker. Love it. Gotta have it. 5 out of 5 domino effect, basically better fire rate and reload speed every critical hit you land. No matter what you're using, whether you're using a full auto gun or you're using the Hellwalker, you're going to love the reload speed, you're going to love the fire rate, or you'll love the reload speed and the fire rate. If you're actually using full auto gun, skill, absolutely amazing skill. So yeah. Next is a 3 out of 5 in the Art of War. Now, we go with 3 out of 5 because we need at least 4 points in the rest of these skills to get down to our man Flint. And I really like the Art of War. I don't see many people use the Art of War, and I can understand why. But I think with this build, it actually synergizes really well. And particularly, it synergizes really well with the Hellwalker. As you can see in one of the intro clips against Graveward, the first 2 shots we do basically deal half of his health. And part of this is actually because of the Art of War. I spam the Mantis Cannon right before we go into the fight with Graveward, and we just chunk half of his health away with basically those 2 first shots. Partially because of the Art of War, I've built up damage by spamming Mantis Cannon before we enter the fight. Obviously, it's also, the Revolter and whatnot, but absolutely, positively a great skill. It synergizes pretty well with this build. You're spamming Mantis Cannon a lot anyway because you are using a lot of action skill start or action skill end next to mags, even on the Hellwalker. So you're spamming it anyway, so you might as well get a little extra damage. Sometimes you're basically getting 18% extra damage almost every shot with the Hellwalker, basically, or every first shot of the Hellwalker. And it lets you one-shot normal enemies with the Hellwalker pretty easily. Pretty good skill, pretty underrated in my opinion. Next we have 1 and 2 Eraser. If you get a critical hit, the shot can bore through the enemy and gain 40% extra damage. It's not useful in many circumstances, but it certainly is useful. There are certain situations where you can just line up enemies, get big damage. And I believe it also helps with some bosses. I'm pretty sure it definitely makes a difference against the Ruiner with all of his crystals. So definitely the skill does make a difference in terms of bossing, and just in general mobbing it will make a difference sometimes. Not often, but it's pretty good. One point in it is more beneficial here than 1 extra point here, in my opinion. So I go with it here. We don't really go with sheer will. We don't really need the extra cooldown rate. Honestly, we get enough cooldown rate from the other point distributions. So yeah. And then 1 into Arm Man Flint. While aiming down sights, Zane weapons deal bonus damage. Bonus damage just from aiming down your sights. What more can I say? 25% extra bonus damage just from aiming down your sights. It's pretty freaking fantastic. Next up, we have the blue tree, the Sentinel tree. This one, I believe, is the one that requires the least explanation, except for Good Misfortune down here, which we'll get into in a second. 5 out of 5 violent speed, more speed. 5 out of 5 violent momentum, more damage from your speed. So these two skills, you see them in basically every Zane build. Run fast, shoot big, it's absolutely fantastic. 5 out of 5 cold hands, or cool hand. More reload. Who doesn't like more reload, right? More reload means more bullets faster. We only go 1 point into salvation here. You only really need 1 point into salvation to really get the proper healing. 1 or 2 points is really all you need. If you feel like you personally aren't healing enough, maybe you can move a point from somewhere else into salvation. But I only really need 1 point, generally speaking. But 1 or 2 points is really, you're not going to feel that much more of a difference between 1 or 2 points. I'll say that, or I mean, past 2 points, I'd say, just because you're getting healed instantly from all of your shots anyway. Next up is Seeing Red. Seeing Red, I like a lot. It's who doesn't love Seeing Red, right? Activate your action skill, spamming Mantis Cannon, get all your kill skills activated instantly. So, I really think this one is self-explanatory. Next up, 5 out of 5 violent violence, another self-explanatory one. More fire rate, Zango Burr, boom, boom, boom. You fucking shred everything with this. So yeah. Now probably the weirdest thing on the skill tree is 3 out of 3 in Good Misfortune. And the reason why we go 3 out of 3 in Good Misfortune is because we need the extra max duration to be able to keep barrier active constantly. I basically spec'd out this build so that you can keep barrier active 100% of the time, even outside of battle, just by spamming Mantis Cannon. Your Mantis Cannons basically cool down faster then your barrier runs out. So as long as you're spamming Mantis Cannons, your barrier will stay active no matter what. So you'll never need to worry about it cooling down unless you go down, and that's just something that's going to happen sometimes, especially with barrels and the slaughter shaft and whatnot. So 3 out of 3. 3 out of 3 combined with a skill combined with borrowed time right here gets us the ability to always keep the barrier running. So that's why we go 3 out of 3 instead of like 1 out of 3, which is 1 out of 3, or sometimes 2 out of 3, which is what people normally use. And then obviously 1 out of 1, death falls close. Kill skills are stronger, more duration. You don't really care about the duration since you can spam Mantis Cannon anyway, but makes them stronger, makes the kill skill stronger. So why not? Next up is the orange tree. Again, we go for 5 out of 5 in borrowed time for the extra action skill, active duration, just from barrier. So then it makes barrier active a little longer. So then the 18% fills up. 18% of its duration is a lot more because of this. This gives it a 30% active duration. So then because its duration is increased by this, 18% of its active duration is filled up. Boom, boom, boom. It makes it stay active for a lot longer. Donnybrook, we have I believe 3 out of 5 points here. These are just points left over that we have after we spec out everything else. We also have 7 out of 5 because of our Seeing Dead class mod has 4 into Donnybrook. Donnybrook, more damage, more healing. How can you say no to it, right? To be completely honest, you could take these three skill points that would be put into Donnybrook and probably put them into Duct Tape mod, and even see if you could sneak in some more points into Duct Tape mod from other places if you want to work around with yourself. I think Duct Tape mod could be a very interesting combination with the Hellwalker for this build, because you're constantly firing your first shot anyway, because you're doing shot, reload, shot, reload. So you could be spamming like pest grenades and debuffing your enemies as well. It's definitely something I would encourage you to experiment with. If there's one thing I would encourage you to experiment with this build. But I think the points are pretty distributed as well as they could be for this build, to be completely honest. If you wanted to like take points out of here, maybe because you don't need all the points here to get all the way down, I believe. Maybe you do actually. I think these points are distributed to make it all the way down anyway. But if you do want to try some experimenting, I encourage duct tape mod. Also makes you immune to your own grenades, so you won't be damaging yourself with the piss grenades that you're probably are going to be shooting point blank because you'll be in people's faces with the Hellwalker. The last tree is the green tree barrier. We have hardy stock, more shields. The reason why we have 3 points here and only 2 points here is we don't need that much more cooldown. We only need like a little bit realistically. We only really need the 14% 2 points, and the 3 points help with the strength and the shield. You could put points into this as well. You could even maybe squeeze these points over here, give you better shield recharge delay, or all 5 points here for better shield recharge delay for the Revolter, because the Revolter does have some pretty bad shield recharge delay. So that's something else you can experiment with a little bit. But this generally works for me. And then we have 5 points in Brain Freeze. Brain Freeze, one of Zane's strongest skills in my opinion. Synergizes really well with the Hellwalker or any high pellet weapon. I really like using an action skill and next to Mag's Cryo Hellwalker, and then having this, and then having Cold Shoulder, and you just freeze everything and just blow everything up. And the reason why we want to have points down this way, and as well as we want to get to all-rounder right here. And as far as the action skills, we do use Cold Shoulder, and we do use Proliferation, I think. Proliferation. Additional 2 charges lets you spam more Mantis Cannon for more action skill and more action skill, more mana focus, and more Art of War. And then for the barrier, we use All-Rounder, protects you all around, and we use Charge Relay. You could use this skill, Nanites or some shite. I used it in the one life because there were certain points where I was scared that I might go down. So what I did was I just placed the barrier and I didn't even pick it up. I just stood under it, and this will give you some healing. The reason why we use Charge Relay is if you're not using a one life character, this does not benefit you at all if you're picking up your barrier. While this benefits you a little bit. You pick it up and it lasts for like 8 seconds after you've picked up your barrier because you placed on your barrier and you're standing in it. The skill activates, you pick it up, and then you get a little 8-second boost in speed and reload speed. It really doesn't help all that much, but it certainly helps more than this, more often than not. So that's the skill tree. Like I said, there is some experimentation you can do. Duct tape mod, maybe try it out. I think you could give it a chance. Maybe some points in ready for action to help the Revolter recharge a bit more. But other than that, I think the skill tree is spec'd out pretty strictly for the synergies of this build. But like I said, you can sort of build it however you want. This is just the way I found to be the most fun in terms of my playstyle. So next up we have the gear. Obviously, we have a lot of the meta weapons like the Tizzy and the Needle Gun. The Needle Gun works very, very well with the Barrier Anoint. I found the increased accuracy and then the increased critical hit damage. You can shred bosses like you see in the first clip. We absolutely shred Shrant in just one mag with this Needle Gun. It is absolutely fantastic. I don't even know if this is a great Needle Gun. This was just the first one that I got, and then I got the Barrier Anoint on it, and it absolutely shreds. Tizzy, you saw it in an opening clip against the Ruiner. The Tizzy is absolutely fantastic. It's a great gun. Does a lot of damage. Not very ammo efficient, but for bossing, it absolutely destroys things. The next 2 guns I have right here, I think, are 2 slept-on guns. The Lucian's Call recently got buffed, and it is absolutely fantastic with the Barrier Anointer, even next to or ASE next to mags. I really like it with the Barrier Anoint because you can just run around hip firing it, hitting people dead on in the head with the increased accuracy and shredding all the enemies around it. You can see in the clip that you shoot at one enemy and the 3 enemies around it will die. It's absolutely crazy. Also, one thing I will say about that the beginning clip with the Lucian's Call is that we were using a Jacob's Company man in that clip. There's no Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge, so all of that damage coming from the Lucian's Call was raw damage. So even if you had the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge on in those moments, you'd be getting even more damage, even much more damage. So that just shows how potent this Lucian's Call can be. Obviously, next up the Hellwalker. Now for the Hellwalker in this build, with a save file which you can download through my Discord, link in the description, I am providing Hellwalkers of basically every ASE next to mags. Cryo, Radiation, Corrosive, Shock, Incendiary, and then I have a Barrier Anoint one right here. You could re-anoint these and go with 150 over 90, or 150 over 90. You can go with consecutive hits. You can, you can experiment. I just provided ones of all the ASEs because the ASEs work really well. I really like it with the Cryo ASE. We're already getting shock from the Revolt, or shock damage from the Revolter, and then you could put on whatever element you want for your grenade, and the Cryo just lets you freeze everything, especially when you land a crit with this. Like, basically any enemy that can be frozen gets frozen instantly from shooting it in the face. So I really love the Hellwalker with this build. Which is why I call it GUY ZANE, because I think it's one of the most potent ways you can be using the Hellwalker as Zane. You just increase your accuracy by spamming Mantis Cannon with Mana Focus. Here, I'll show you right now. You can place down the barrier. Spam Mantis Cannon to the point where all of your pellets are going in such a tiny space that you'll basically be able to kill anyone at any distance. It makes it super fun. Along with the build, I have a few other weapons that I think work well with this build. Obviously, Soul Render. Soul Renders are one of the strongest weapons in the game. Soul Renders are absolutely fantastic. I have light shows of a bunch of different elements. Light show is fantastic. The multi-pellet with it as well also synergizes pretty well with Mana Focus. Kind of makes the multi-pellet slightly more accurate. Not really. We have Unkempt Heralds, I believe, of almost all the elements, if not all the elements, other than Kinetic, and they all have ASE. You could also do Barrier Anoint on them because they're multi-pellet. It helps a little bit. We have a Super Shredder Fire. This thing is also fun, although it's not super great. We have some Kick Chargers. The Hellwalkers of all the elements. I have two different Sea and Deads. I really like the Sea and Dead 35 weapon damage and 4 in Donnybrook. It does have 1 in playing dirty, but I think this is an absolutely god roll, all things considered. Malwan fire rate, Vladoff fire rate. The Vladoff fire rate particularly works well with the Lucian's Call, but we also have a Sea and Dead with 5 out of 5 in Violent Violence, pistol damage, Vladoff weapon fire rate, also great. Action skill and grenades of a bunch of different types. We have Cryostone loaded dice. We have Radiation Deathless, or Roided Deathless. This is a Deathless with magazine size, weapon reload speed, and 20 luck that I got while I was farming, and I thought might as well throw it in for you guys. It doesn't work with this build, but if you guys like Deathless builds, I think this is a pretty good Deathless, all things considered. Jacob's Company Man works great, absolutely fantastically with the Hellwalker. Allows you to shred even more. Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge, Snowdrift Victory Rush just lets you move fast. We have a Triple Absorb Revolter, obviously with the action skill Start Anoint, just allows you to absolutely destroy things. Low level plumage for rocket jumping. Rowan's Call is also fantastic. It works very similar to the Lucian's Call. I think you could give it a shot. Butcher, also absolutely fantastic weapon. Give it a shot. Q System with action skill and anoint. Ion Cannon, Fire Ion Cannon with action skill and weapon damage. Redistributors, a no pew pew, some monarchs. You really don't need all these weapons. This is just an example of this build works with anything. It's just to provide you with some nice weapons to play around with and test the build with. That is GUY ZANE. I've had a lot of fun playing with this build. It was super fun to build it on stream, and just super fun. That Zane One Life was super fun. I can't wait to do more One Lives and other stuff on the Twitch channel. Speaking of the Zane One Life, feel free to watch out on this channel. I'm going to be having highlights from that Zane One Life being uploaded soon. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you're interested, you can follow my Twitch channel down in the description. Also, if you want to download this character, my Discord will be linked in the description. You can go ahead and join it and find the file on the Discord. That's where all the character save files that we will be releasing in the future will be saved on. And you can go ahead and join my community in the Discord. We're super cool. We're super chill. We welcome any newcomers. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Peace out.